Sevakunje Brajerame Govardhane Girosada Radha Kunde Rasanande Tat Sevakadayakam Gurung Narayanakam Tam Vande Vinoda Pristakam Yat Pada Smriti Matvena Dhamodhara Prasidati Nityananda Namastubhyam Premananda Pradayine Kalu Kalmasana Saya Janavapataye Namaha Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Krishabhavasute Devi Pranamami Hariye Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. First of all, I offer my obeisances countless times unto my most worshipful Guru Pada Padma Paramaradita Om Shri Pada Sahas Lashmar Bhaktivedanta Narayana Swami Maharaj Shri Gurudev. Likewise into the entire Rupanuga, Gaudiya Guru Varga and all Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis and accept my pranams. So, Hari Bol. We're going to continue from where we left off last time in our Bhagavad Gita discussion. So, our last Bhagavad Gita class, we spoke about the differences between Duryodhana and Arjuna and the divine qualities and the demonic qualities, and how we should be careful in what we choose, and the importance of choosing properly, knowing what to do, what not to do, and about how the jiva is always on this Tashta region in this world. We have the choice to go towards Krishna or to go towards Maya. And we see that choice was given to Arjuna. He chose Krishna, and Duryodhana chose the Maya Vaibhav. He chose Krishna, but then still when he went out into the middle of the armies and he looked at everyone on both sides, and he again came under illusion. And he told Krishna he would not fight. Then, when he became perplexed about what to do and lost all strength, then he surrendered to Krishna and said, "Now I'm your disciple, please accept me and tell me what to do." And then Krishna began giving him his Gita Upadesh, which is that which gives moksha, liberation from all kinds of bondage. This Gita manifested on Moksha Ekadashi day. So, therefore, Krishna manifested on this day in order to give moksha, or freedom, from material entanglements to humankind. And we heard what is the real meaning of mukti, or the topmost mukti is muktir hitva anyata rupena surupena devastati, to be established in your true spiritual identity, in the spiritual world, in your true home. That is mukti. Then Krishna spoke about Atma Tattva. What is the nature of the soul? And he described in many verses about the reality of the soul, the nature of the soul, and how you can become established in soul knowledge. This is under Sankhya Yoga. Sankhya Yoga means a deep analysis of what is matter and what is spirit, the different categories of matter, the karmendriya, the jnanendriya, the working senses, the knowledge-acquiring senses, the nature of the mind, the intelligence, the ego, and then the nature of the soul. This is all Sankhya Yoga. But then, what do we do with this knowledge? Once we develop some knowledge like this, then we need to know how to utilize this knowledge. This knowledge is very powerful. But how will we use this knowledge in our life? Therefore, after describing Atma Dharma and Atma Tattva and how to be established in this, then Krishna turned to the next subject in the second chapter. So up to verse 38, he spoke about Atma Dharma also, Atma Tattva, and how he should fight without being attached. Sukha dukke samay kritva labha labha jayo jayo tato yudhayi chaspanayam papam vapjasi, in such a way that he would never incur any sin. Then after that verse comes the next verse, 38 or 39, where Krishna says, Esha te bihita sankhe buddhir yoge tvimam shinu buddhya yukto yaya parta karma bandhan prahasyasi. That when you're... Now, up to this point I have taught you about Sankhya philosophy. There are different types of Sankhya in this world, but Krishna is teaching the highest form. And so Krishna said, now I've taught you this, Eshate Bhita Sankhe Buddhir Yoga Dhananjaya Buddhya. He said, Buddhya Yukta Karma Bandhan Prasasi. O Partha, Buddhya Yukta Yahaya Partha Karma Bandhan Prasasi. By becoming established now in Buddhi-yoga. So he said, after Sankhya Yoga, now I'm teaching you Buddhi-yoga. And when you become established in Buddhi-yoga, then you can become free from all kinds of bondage of karma. So today we'll discuss a little bit about what is Buddhi-yoga. After this, the next verse, Krishna established the speciality of this Buddhi-yoga, which is really another kind of Bhakti-yoga. But there are different levels of Bhakti-yoga. There is Sakama Bhakti, Niskama Bhakti, Mishra Bhakti, Jnana Mishra Bhakti, Karma Mishra Bhakti, Shuddha Bhakti. So we want to become established in Swarup Siddha Bhakti. So to do that, there are different levels we have to progress through. Gurudev and Srila Prabhupada say that this Buddhi Yoga means engaging your intelligence and your consciousness while being established in your true identity, your true self, and serving the absolute truth. Then you are established in this Buddhi Yoga. So we're going to hear about that, how we can become established in Buddhi Yoga. So Krishna said in the next verse, Neha Vikrama Nasusti Pratyavayo Navidyate Swalpamapyasya Dharmasya Trayate Mahato Vayat. That if you follow this Buddhi Yoga, even a little bit, then that will give you an imperishable result, and it will free you from all kinds of fear. Even if you follow a little bit, Swalpamapyasya Dharmasya Trayate Mahato Vayat, you'll be delivered from all kinds of fear. Now Arjuna was afraid, what to do, what not to do, should I kill them? Should I be killed by them? So Krishna said, Vyavasyatmaka buddhi rekaha kurunandana bahusaka hinantascha buddhya vyavisayanam. Those whose minds are resolute in purpose, who are one-pointed, then they are ekaha kurunanda, they are one-pointed. But those who are bahusaka hinantascha buddhya vyavisayanam, those who don't have this vyavasyatmaka buddhi, this fixed intelligence, fixed focus on the goal, then they are many-branched in their worship, in their activities. They aren't focused. And if you are many-branched, if you're serving many masters, then how can you get the result you desire? In the Bible it said you cannot serve both. It is said mammon and God. Mammon means wealth, adoration, prestige, not name, fame, glory. You're trying to serve these things. You're serving this master means you're doing everything to try to gain these ends. And then you're many-branched. I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll do this, I'll do that. But you aren't focused. This is one of Krishna's main points about Buddhi Yoga. Learn how to become focused by engaging the intelligence properly in Buddhi Yoga. So Krishna says, you should try to transcend attachments to temporary material results. Traigunya Vishaya Veda Nistraigunya Bhavarjuna Nirdvanda Nitya Sattvasto Niryoga Kshema Atmavan. Be established in this yoga beyond material duality. Give up attachment to the Traigunya Vishaya Veda. Much of the Veda describes in flowery language how by doing this yajna you can get this material result, by giving this charity you can get this result. This is all about the three modes of nature, and it is for people who are bhogashvarya prasaktanam. Daya pahrita chetasam vyavasyatmaka buddhir smato na vidyate. Such people who are only looking for material enjoyment and opulence and name and fame, then they cannot develop this vyavasyatmaka buddhi and follow Buddhi Yoga. Therefore Krishna tells Arjuna, you must rise above this. become established in Nirgun Tattva, in Atma Tattva, and then you'll become aloof from these things. Nirdvanda Nitya Sattvasto. You'll be established firmly in the self and be free of these material attachments, Nirdvanda, without material duality. And then you can do yoga, Niryoga Kshema Atmavan, when you're firmly established in the self and powerful like that. So then Krishna says, Yavan artha udhapane savatta samplutodike tavan sarveshu vedesu brahmanasya vijanataha. That you can go to many different wells to get different things from them, different results. But better than that is you can go to one reservoir, one lake or one ocean, and you can fulfill all the other needs from that one place. Like it is said, like one great lake of sweet water. Then what is the need to go to different wells? It is said in Shastra also that to bathe with well water is not as auspicious as to bathe in a holy lake. And more than that, like a tirtha, better than that is to bathe in holy river or the ocean. So this, Krishna says in this verse, which is very important for us, because most people who call themselves Hindus are worshipping many different gods. And this is because they're attached to Bhog and Aishwarya, material enjoyment and opulence. They have not come to the level of understanding the self, being established in the self and serving God with pure knowledge. They haven't come to Buddhi-yoga. So therefore, they are going to many different wells for many different results. But it said, one who has proper intelligence, tavan sarveshu vedesu brahmanasya vijanata, they will go to that one reservoir. What is that reservoir? The reservoir of pleasure, Sri Krishna. Prabhupada Swami Maharaj wrote this book, The Reservoir of Pleasure. That is Sri Krishna. You go to Krishna, then all the other results that you want from other devas can be easily fulfilled. So it said, we see most people who are so-called Hindus, they are acting like this, that one day they're worshipping one deva for one result that is material, the next day they're worshipping a different deva for another material result. And they don't have this vyavasyatmaka buddhi ekaha gurunandana. Krishna is saying, I am here, worship me, become my devotee, and then I will give you everything that you need. But it was also said that if you worship the devas will not think what is good for you or bad for you. According to how you worship them, like a businessman, you go to the market, you can go to different shops. Okay, you can go to a drug shop and give them money and get drugs, or a drug dealer. They don't think, is this good for you or bad for you? You go to someone and buy cocaine, and then day and night you're taking, or any type of drug, or other place, day and night you're eating fast food and becoming like a walrus. You don't think whether this is good for you or bad for you. So the devas are like this, you worship them and they'll give you a fruit. They don't think, is this good for you or bad for you. But Vaishnavas and Krishna, they're not like that. Krishna says, Ami Vigya se murgjiva bis ke na divo. Swacharnamrita vishai bulaibo. Why should I give them poison? I am wise and they are foolish. Why should I give them poison? So Krishna said, I won't give them poison. I'll give them my charanamrita. And through that, they'll be delivered from all kinds of distress. Puruji was talking about this last night. How everything we're trying to consume in this world is just poison that burns the soul. So therefore, we should try to take Krishna's charanamrita, his harikatamrita, his vachanamrita. It's coming to this world through the Vaishnavas, Harikata, Bhakta Padaduli, Bhakta Padachal, Bhakta Bhukta Vishes, Etin Sadhanirabal. So Krishna says, this verse, that you shouldn't worship many devas for different material results. Instead, have one-pointed, resolute intelligence, vyavasyatmaka buddhi, and come to me. Brody likes to tell this example. He says, people, what do? One day they're chanting like vandana to one deva. Next day to another deva, next day to another deva, next day to another deva. Then who will give them the benefit of this? One day they're chanting like Om Ganapataye Namaha, Om Ganapataye Namaha, Om Ganapataye Namaha. Brody says, hearing he's being called, then Ganapati, Ganesh starts to come. I'll give the result, whatever they're desiring, I'll give to the bhakta. But as Ganapati, Ganesh is coming close, then he sees, now they've changed the tune, now they're singing Jai Brajvangavali, Jai Hanuman, Jai Hanuman. Then he thinks, okay, they don't need me now. They're calling out to Hanuman. Hanuman will come and give them what they desire. So Ganapati leaves. Then Hanuman, hearing his name being repeatedly called, he thinks, okay, what do they want? Let me go and see. He comes closer. By the time he comes close, then he sees they're chanting Har Har Mahadev. Har Har Mahadev. Oh, they're chanting to Shiva. So then again they're chanting, praying to Shiva, and then Shiva starts to come, dancing and singing. Okay, let's see what they want. As Shiva comes close, then they're chanting Durga Ma. Like in the West, in the yoga centers, it's very popular. They sing like for like 1 or 2 hours, like Durga, Durga Ma, and everyone's meditating like this. But you're not fixed. Become fixed in something. In your life, you can see, if you're focused in one direction, you can achieve something. If you're going to school, if you're going to like university, then you have to get a mastery in a certain degree. But if you're like 2 months you're studying this, physics, 2 months, economics, 2 months, liberal arts, 2 months, this or that, whatever nonsense, then how are you going to achieve anything in that? Krishna says, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Jada Vidya Jata Maya Rave Bhav Jivana Panaika Gada. Whatever material knowledge you acquire in this world just makes you like a donkey. And what kind of donkey? The donkey of many masters. So you're running to do this, running to do that, running to do this, only to fulfill your material desires. So then, they're chanting Har Har Mahadev. Shiva comes, and then they start chanting Durga, Durga, Durga. So then he says, okay, Parvati Devi will take care of them. He leaves. Then Parvati Devi starts coming. And then as she arrives, she hears now they've changed again. Now they're chanting again, Om Namo Shivaya, Om Namo Shivaya. So she thinks, okay, anyhow, they're chanting my pati's name, my husband's name. So that's good. They're chanting Om Namo Shivaya. But then, only a few moments later, they change again. Shivoham, Shivoham, Shivoham. I am Shiva, I am Shiva. Then she thinks, just a few moments ago you were saying, I'm offering obeisance to Lord Shiva, my husband. I was going to give you everything you wanted. But now you're saying you are my husband. How can you be my husband? You are like my baby. This is like the worst kind of thing you can do. You're born from the mother. Afterwards you want to enjoy the mother. And there's so many bad words in all different countries and all different languages about such a person who wants to enjoy their mother like that. So before they're chanting Om Namo Shivaya, and this is very prominent, everyone is doing like this, whether they're chanting Om Namo Shivaya or Aham Brahmasmi. Anyhow, they want to become the dominator, the enjoyer of Shakti. And because of this, they're doing so many kinds of sinful activities and suffering the results. So Durga says, oh, you're now trying to become my husband. Yesterday you were my child, my infant. And you're worshipping Shiva. Now you're trying to become my husband and enjoy me. And she says, takes out her sword and bas. Swoosh. There's your mukti. She cuts off your head. So this is the result of people who are always worshipping many different masters without vyavasyatmaka buddhi, without one-pointed, resolute intelligence. There's another famous story in Sastra. The story of Bhasmasura. This is the example of someone who doesn't have Buddhi-yoga. Someone who's established in Buddhi-yoga, they have this one-pointed intelligence and focus, and they have spiritual intelligence. But Bhasmasura had no spiritual intelligence. What is the story of Bhasmasura? That he began worshipping Shiva with great intensity. It is said demons, sometimes you'll find that demons will do harder austerities than devotees. Oftentimes you can find the demons will do such difficult austerities. When you read the different accounts of the demons and how they did austerities, it'll blow your mind. Like Hiranyakashipu, like Ravan, like Bhasmasura, he was doing such difficult austerities, very harsh and painful. And Krishna says in the 12th chapter of the Gita, Kleshodikataras tesham avyakta sakta chetasam. If you're doing such difficult, painful austerities, it doesn't please Krishna, it doesn't please even your own Atma. It's painful. It's not proper. It's not bhakti yoga. Why are you doing these difficult, like atyahar, too much, over-prayas, over-endeavoring in these activities. So Bhasmasura was doing like this, and finally Shiva thought, okay, he's Ashutosh, Bholanath, he is easily pleased. So then he appeared before him and said, okay, I'll give you a boon, what do you want? So this is the nature of people. They worship some deity only to be able to get the position of that deity. This is the nature of people who are like Mayavadis or impersonalists. They worship God to become God, and then to enjoy all of God's creation. And this is a very, you could say, like the most popular religion in the world. The God worshipping to become God religion. For example, the Church of Satan in America. And they say, what is our dharma? What is our religion? We are God. There is no such thing as God. We are all gods, and we should not try to hold back our material cravings, our carnal lust. The purpose of life is to enjoy as much as possible. And this is not a new philosophy. This is taught even by different rishis, like Charvak Muni. He says, you should enjoy as much as possible in this life. There's no guarantee about an afterlife. There's no afterlife. You should steal if you have to, but you should eat ghee and enjoy as much as possible. Beg, borrow, or steal, but enjoy as much as possible. So Bhasmasura was worshipping like this. He worshipped Shiva, then Shiva offered him a boon. And what did he say? Oh, what boon do I want? I want the boon that whosever hands I put my head on, whosever head I put my hands on, that head will explode. And Shiva thought, okay, a little strange, but yes, take it. This is like, as soon as he got this boon, then he said, oh Shivji, I want to come and let me come close and offer pranam to you. Thank you, he started coming close to Shiva, and Shiva's like, now what does he want, He started walking towards Shiva, and he said, what do you want now? He said, oh, let me just one time embrace you, Lord. He said, oh, I want to test. I want to first use this boon on you. Shiva thought, Baba, you've been worshipping me for so long, and I gave you this boon, and the first thing you want to do when you get this boon is to destroy me. This is the Mayavadis. They say, oh, you have to follow Bhakti-yoga, because without Bhakti-yoga you get no fruit in your austerities or in anything. Without Bhakti-yoga you can't get anything. So they worship God doing kirtan. You can go, many of them chant Mahamantra, chant kirtan, but what is their conception only? Oh, I will be like Krishna, I will be like Radharani, I will be like Lalita Vishaka. I'll enjoy like that. This is called Ahangara Upasana. Thinking that I will become the object of my worship. And what will happen to such a person? They don't have this Buddhi-yoga, Vyavasayatmaka Buddhi. Very foolish. So we'll see what happens with Bhasmasura. He went to go to Shiva and touch Shiva's head and kill Shiva. So that, why? He said, oh, why do you want to kill me? Shiva said, oh, your wife is very attractive. She's such a beautiful wife, Parvati. She's like the mother of all creation, anything that is beautiful. Like she's the mother, the womb of creation, by Krishna's Shakti, that she is manifesting this creation by Swarup Shakti. So she was very attractive. The demons are generally very attracted to Maya Shakti. We see any of the demons. What is the manifestation of Maya Shakti? Lordship over this world, dominion over the world. That means they want to become the master of this earth. Bhupati, Nripati. This means I want to become the master of this world. And this world is manifestation of Maya Shakti, Durga Mata. So they want to become like the husband or the enjoyer of this world. As the child of the earth, they want to become the master of the earth, the husband of the earth. Ravan, Hiranyakashipu, they want to become the king of the universe, not only one earth, the king of the universe. And to destroy Krishna. They want to kill God. Why are they so envious of God, the demons? They are envious of God only because they want to become God. This is the nature of someone who is in a weaker position and they see a much more successful and charismatic person who everyone is worshipping and loving, then they think, how can I pull him down and become him? So the demons and Mayavadis are like this. So then he started running after Shiva, and Shiva's, better get out of here, he started running. This story is also showing that Krishna is superior to Shiva. One time when the British were ruling India, they were having fights between the followers of Shiva and the followers of Krishna. And so they brought it to court to try to establish once and for all, thinking that through the court system they can establish who is God. Already they're showing they're not in Buddhi-yoga. How can a British court establish who is Parameshwar? But anyhow, they brought the case, who is superior, Shiva or Krishna, Vishnu? So they brought a picture of, he said, bring me a picture of both of the gods. They brought him a picture of Shiva, and they brought him a picture of Krishna, the judge. The judge looked at the picture. On one hand, Shiva is wearing ash from a crematorium, and dressed in snakes, and a loincloth, and sitting in a cremation ground, meditating. The other picture, Krishna is playing the flute and dancing with hundreds of beautiful damsels in Vrindavan. He said, on one hand he is doing sadhana, spiritual practice, Shiva, and Krishna is playing in his absolute realm. So obviously, what is Shiva thinking of? He is thinking of Parameshwara, the Supreme Lord, Krishna. So obviously Krishna is superior. Krishna is happily playing in his transcendental world with his associates, and Shiva is meditating upon him. So Shiva began to run in fear, and then he started praying to his Lord, Bhagavan Krishna. Please save me, save me, save me, trahimam, trahimam. So Shiva was running very fast, and Bhasmasura was coming along behind, and he hid behind like some corner. He was a little bit away, and then Krishna appeared and said, oh Bholanath, what have you done now? We see many times when the devas give some boon to the demons and come under difficulty because of that, then ultimately they have to call out to Krishna to help them. Why? Brahma also gave the boon to Hiranyakashipu, and by that he became the master of the universe, and ultimately he had to be saved by the Shringadev, Krishna. So he prayed to Krishna, please save me, please save me. And Krishna said, okay, don't worry, you go along, I'll help. So then Krishna thought, this Bhasmasura hasn't followed Buddhi-yoga, he doesn't have any intelligence, he's just Bhogashvarya Prasattanam, he's attached only to Bhoganashvarya, let me enjoy Devi. So therefore, he said, okay, I'll deal with him. So then Krishna took a very beautiful, attractive form, and Shiva ran along, and then as Bhasmasura was coming, then he saw Krishna in this beautiful form, and Krishna started to talk to him. Very attractive form, such a form that is enchanting the three worlds. He is Mohan, he's attracting the three worlds, so how can he not bewilder such a person as this demon? So he said, oh, what are you doing? Oh, I'm running after Shiva. Why? I want to touch my hands to his head. Why? Oh, he gave me the boon that I can, by touching my hands to anyone's head, their head will explode. Oh, so you want to kill Shiva? You want to go and touch your hands to Shiva's head? Shiva's just pagal. He's like a crazy person. Why do you have faith upon Shiva's words? What's the guarantee if this is right or not? You should first test it. Don't believe Shiva, this is just a joke. He was just tricking you, and he's mad and he's running around. He's just playing a joke with you. You should test it. Oh, he said like this, like you test it. And so he was thinking, yeah, Krishna. Prabhupada likes to say that Krishna started dancing, like in a very attractive way. Like, you know, how you different dance pose. When one person dances, then another person follows. Prabhupada tells like that. So Krishna started dancing like this, and then finally put his hand in his head. Bhasmasura also put his hand in his head. Boom. Finished. So Prabhupada tells the story like that. So this is the result. Because he had no Buddhi-yoga, if he had Buddhi-yoga, he wouldn't be so foolish to think, I'll test this on myself. But he tested on himself, and what was the result? Bas. Khatam ho gaya. He became finished. So this is the destination of people who are worshipping so many devas. And because of Bhogashvarya Prasaktanam, they are so attached to these things, then therefore they develop so much material enmity. If anyone has a little bit of a better situation than them, then they'll try to pull them down, even if they have to harm themselves. Therefore we see wars in this world. Oh, these people have more riches, more wealth, we should try to plunder them, even though we'll have to lose so much of our life and possessions. We see another story of someone worshipping Shiva. They worshipped Shiva like they were an ordinary person, not really like a big demon, but they worshipped Shiva. Prabhupada likes to tell this story also. And then he gave them the boon. He came to give them a boon. They said, what boon do you want? They said, I want that boon that whatever I ask for, whatever happens to me, will happen double to my neighbor. Whatever happens to me, let my neighbor get double. And he thought, okay, whatever, like it's a little strange, but okay, he gave it. So then the first thing he went and did is, he went and cut his nose, he says. And then his neighbor and his neighbor's wife both broke and cut their nose. Then he thought, he was so envious, this is the nature of things, they become so envious. Anyone has a little bit more than them, a nicer car, a nicer house, a more attractive wife, husband with more money. Then, let me work to drag them down, to spoil their reputation, destroy them. It said that he even burnt his own house down. And one of his sons died, and then his neighbor's house was burnt down, and all his children died. And then he was very happy. This is the nature of people like this, who are, there's no intelligence. Why are you harming yourself out of envy to another? There's no Buddhi-yoga. You're causing harm to yourself, just out of your enmity, thinking that you'll pull others down. There's another story of someone who doesn't have Buddhi-yoga. Because Krishna is telling about Buddhi-yoga. Develop your intelligence, Buddhi, intelligence. So Prabhupada says another person worshipped Shiva, and when Shiva came to give the boon, they said, I want that boon that whatever my hand touches will turn to gold. Then I'll be the richest person in this world. Why, if I have a Chintamani touchstone, someone can steal it from me. If I have a Chintamani, whatever I touch it to turn to gold. So let my hands be the Chintamani. Whatever I touch will turn to gold. Shiva said, yes, whatever you like. So then he started touching everything to gold. He was very happy. His house became gold. His table became gold. His chair was gold. And then he was running around touching everything to gold. He was very happy. Then he was he was running around so much he got hungry. So then he sat down for his meal. Told his wife, bring me everything nicely, Now look, we have a gold house, gold palace. Everything is gold. We'll become the wealthiest people in the world. Everyone will worship us. She brought the Bhojan Thali, 56 items. He touched the kachori, gold. He touched the kheer, gold. He touched the halava, gold. Touched the puri, gold. Touched the sabjis, gold. Everything became gold. What can I eat? Everything I touch becomes gold. Tried to put on gloves, and then he did gold. Whatever he was touching was gold, and by connection became gold. Then he was thinking what to do, and his little baby son ran to him, Papa, Papa, Papa. He was thinking, no, don't touch me. Jumped in his lap and embraced him. Gold. His wife, gold. Everything was gold. Then he himself became like this, but this is also the destination of the Mayavadis. Gurudev says they're not intelligent, they don't have Buddhi-yoga, they're not really intelligent. So what do? They end up, Gurudev says, because it's not possible to merge into nothingness. The jiva has individuality. You try to emerge in the impersonal Brahman, then you'll get like a shadow of this. And what will happen? You'll enter into like diamonds and jewels. Because these stones are so hard and so condensed that they can last for the whole kalpas. Not only kalpas, they can last until material devastation. Even when the waters rise up in the first pralay, then they won't perish. And then the Mahapralay, finally when everything enters back into Mahavishnu, then they can be freed from this condition. For millions and billions of years, they're stuck in diamonds and jewels. And this is also the result of people who are attached to Bhoga and Aishwarya. Oh, you just become like this yourself. You're only worshipping wealth, name and fame and prestige. So what do you get? You get that result. So therefore, we should not follow this path. We should develop proper Buddhi-yoga. So then Krishna says that, like we heard, Yavan artha udapane savatta samplutodake tavan sarveshu vedeshu brahmanasya vijanata. After this Krishna says, Buddhi-yukta jahatiha ube sukrite duskrite tasmad yogyaya yujasva yoga karmashu koshalam. That pure yoga is the art of all kinds of work. We should do proper niskam karma yoga at this stage. So then, another example of someone who became very fixed in austerities. See, the deva, those who are worshipping the many devas, this is also, we heard, we shouldn't worship many devas, we should be one-pointed. But then there are also examples of sakam bhakti, where they are worshipping Krishna, but for material results. And therefore they also become cheated of the real ultimate goal of Krishna Prem and Braja Bhakti. So on one level we can cross over. We leave the different wells, like Krishna says, don't need to go to this well, this well, another well. Go to the reservoir of pleasure, Krishna. So they go to Krishna, and they start worshipping Krishna, but still they have that sakam. So Krishna says, even you have this sakam, at least come to me. Akamo sarva kamo va moksha kamo dharati tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. That even if you have so many material desires or no desires, akamo sarva kamo va moksha kamo dharati, the desire for moksha, the desire for material like material lust, desire for so many things in this world, still, come to me and I will deliver you. Because at least if you worship Krishna, if you do Sakam Bhakti, ultimately, when you do this kind of deep sadhana, you have to taste the results. But if you worship Krishna, then Krishna can also give you a higher knowledge by coming into the association of Krishna, and then you can transcend that. So I think one of the best examples in Sastra of that is Dhruva Maharaj. Dhruva Maharaj, he wanted to be on an equal position with his brother, Uttanapad, Uttam. Yes, so his brother was the son of Suruchi, and he was the son of Suniti, and the king liked Suruchi more. Suruchi was always increasing the king's material happiness, and Suniti was always telling the king, you should be absorbed in spiritual life. And so the elder queen, Suruchi, was very against Suniti. Why are you trying to stop the king from enjoying with me? Why are you trying to make him wake up for Mangalarti? And if he has to wake up for Mangalarti, then he can't enjoy in bed all night with his wife. Then you can't wake up for Mangalarti, how's it possible? So he was trying to fix her and hit the king. Suniti was trying to make the king do sadhana bhakti, and she wasn't interested. Suruchi. So she was also very antagonistic towards Dhruva. And when Dhruva tried to sit in the lap of his father, then she kicked him out and said, you have to take birth from my womb, and then you can sit on the lap of the king. Otherwise you're just bogus. And the king, because he was so Bhogashvarya Prasaktanam, he was so attached to Bhoganeshvarya, even though the king, father naturally has love for his young son, he was so attached to Suruchi, because Suruchi was like a treasure house of material pleasures for him. Whatever he wanted, she would arrange and give. She was always encouraging him in material enjoyment. So he was so attached to her, he became blinded by this, and then she arranged to kick out Suniti and Dhruva. And they went and lived out in the jungle, like sadhus, like rishis. And Dhruva was so upset, he was like furious. And he made a vow, like, I want to get a bigger kingdom than even my grandfather, like Brahma. The grandfather, this was early on in the creation, like in Satya-yuga, right? So he said, I want a greater kingdom than my own grandfather Brahma. How's that possible? He's the creator of the universe, the architect of the universe through Krishna's Shakti. So he was thinking like this day and night, and his mother told him, look, if you want this, then the only way you can get your desired result properly is by worshipping Parameshwar, Bhagavan, Sri Krishna. You should worship Krishna. This is the example of akamo sarva kamava. Even if you have so many desires, but if you follow and worship Krishna in Bhakti-yoga, Buddhi-yoga, then Krishna can fulfill your desires. But also you should be careful. If you follow Sakam Bhakti, then what happened with Dhruva Maharaj? Dhruva Maharaj did such great austerities, we cannot even fathom doing. He went into the forest, was chanting the mantra that was given by Narad. Narad gave him a mantra. And then he chanted it, he was worshipping Narayan, Om Namo Narayana. He was meditating on this so much. He was so absorbed in this, he gave up food. Why? He was taking food and he saw that this is making me think again about Maya. Because the food changes your consciousness. So he gave up food. He was still disturbed. He gave up. Then he was eating dry leaves, drinking the water. He gave up the leaves. He just drank water. Then he stopped drinking water. He was breathing. He stopped breathing. He thought, I will get whatever I desire, or I'll die. He had this do or die mentality. And he started practicing like this, with this do or die mentality. And he became so fixed in his sadhana and tapasya like this, that it said that because he was not breathing, he became so powerful that all the devas and the heavenly planets, they started having difficulty breathing. It's like he was sucking up all the air in the universe, and everyone was choking. So they all prayed to Brahma, and he prayed to Vishnu Narayan, please, if you don't go and satisfy his desires, then we'll all perish. This is the danger of performing austerities without proper anugatya, that it can just potentially cause harm to others instead of good. So Narayan appeared before him, and he was so mesmerized by the beauty of the Lord. He said, if you really have darshan of Krishna, first Krishna appeared in his heart, it said. And Dhruva said, why are you hiding in my heart? Come out before me. So Narayan appeared before Dhruva, and then Dhruva was stunned. He could not speak. He was so mesmerized by the beauty of the Lord. Then Lord Narayan touched his conch shell to Dhruva's head, and that gave him the ability to perform so many stutis, so many prayers to Lord Narayan. And then when he really saw the Lord, he realized what I had been praying for was so insignificant. He prayed in his verses, we can read these in the Bhagavatam. He said that I was praying for such a useless thing, like a piece of broken glass. And here you are, Lord, like a precious, priceless diamond. And so I was doing all this hard work only for a very foolish, insignificant thing. When I could have been worshipping you for pure love, and then I could have gone to the transcendental abode and been absorbed in the bliss of loving relationship with Krishna eternally. Instead, Krishna said, okay, he said, please, I don't want this result. Krishna said, now you've done so much austerity for this, you should take this position. I'll give you a kingdom better than Brahma. He gave him the position of the pole star, Dhruva Loka. He became known as Dhruva Loka. And he was living there for the whole cycle of Brahmana. 64?
Yeah, maybe.
More than that, I think, no? The whole lifetime, anyhow. So he said, you have to take that. So he worshipped Krishna with Sakam Bhakti. Because of that, so it's better than worshipping all the different devas. He worshipped Krishna. He went to the reservoir. But even doing that is not enough. That's why Krishna told Arjuna, Nirdvanda nitya sattvasto yoga kshema atmavan. Become aloof to these material dualities. Matra sparsha sukunteya stushna sukadukada, heat and cold, honor, dishonor, love, puja, pratishta. Become free of these material desires and worship me with nirgun bhakti. Then you will come to me. This is the real message of the Gita. Krishna ultimately said, Sarva dharman parityaja mamekam shranam vraja. Come to me alone. Don't worry what is dharma. Forget this. Only come to me. I will tell you everything. I will teach you everything. I will save you. I will protect you. So Krishna therefore in this example of Dhruva, of Sakam Bhakti, that Dhruva had to take this position. So when we do bhakti in our lives, we should always try to examine our inner motives. Why are we doing it? Srila Jagannath Bhabji Maharaj said, you should do this on Ekadashi, he said. He said, every Ekadashi you should do very strong sadhana. He said you should try to stay up all night and do kirtan all night, like Kundalata. All night kirtan with Srila Gurudev, whether other people support or not. Then you follow Ekadashi like this. And then, he said also on Ekadashi you should try to make a spiritual ledger. How much have I progressed in bhakti, in devotional life? How much have I gone backwards? How can we know if we've gone forwards or backwards in bhakti? Jagannath Das Bhabji Maharaj also says, if you just try to calculate this by achievement, I have chanted this many rounds every day, I have been engaged, I've done this so much seva, and I'm doing more and more every day. On one hand, this is good, become more and more engaged in Bhakti-yoga. But this is not enough. What verse would Gurudev say again and again and again about bhakti? What is real bhakti? Uttama bhakti? Anya vilasta shunyam jnana karma dinavritam anukulena krishnanushilanam bhakti uttama. That uttama bhakti, on one hand, is continuous cultivation of activities favorable to Krishna, bhakti yoga. But also, the first condition is anya vilasta shunyam, completely give up other ulterior desires. Anya vilas. Jnana karma dinavritam, don't let it be covered by jnana or karma. When it's one-pointed devotion towards Krishna, favorable for Krishna, like the Brajavasis, then that is Uttama Bhakti. Otherwise, we can do so many material things. It's not material, we're doing spiritual practices, sadhana bhakti. But what is the bhav? What is the mood and the desire inside? What are we aspiring for? We can be doing so much austerity, more than we see no one else is doing like me. I'm chanting more, I'm reading more, I'm studying more, I'm serving more. What is your desire? First, determine the goal. First determine the sadhya. Gurudev said, then you know, when you have your goal determined, then you can perform sadhana bhakti properly. So therefore, it's not just, Jagannath Bhabji Maharaj says in his Upadeshavali, it's not just about your external achievement. It's about the internal development of pure bhakti in the heart. And then whatever you do will be for Krishna. That's why Krishna says, Yat korosi yadasnasya jahosi dadasya yat tapasyasi kunte tat kuru svamanarpanam. Do everything as an offering to me, to please me. Then you'll be established in bhakti yoga. Otherwise, then like Dhruva, he did so many austerities worshipping God, worshipping Narayan. And ultimately, when he saw Krishna, he realized this was all such insignificant. It was such a trivial thing I was praying for. Why didn't I just develop love and worship Krishna for that Prem Bhakti. That Mahaprabhu said, what is the topmost wealth? What is the topmost wealth? And without that wealth, my life is void. Prem dan vina vyartha daridra jivan das kori vetan more premathan. That, oh Krishna, Mahaprabhu himself being Krishna prayed like this, oh, without this wealth of prem, pure love, prem dana vida vyartha daridra jivan, my life is passing without any point. And I'm like a daridra. Daridra means very poor, impoverished. So he said, I'm a beggar now for your love, this wealth of your love. Without this love, my life is useless, futile, passing in vain. Therefore, I pray, make me your servant, and only give me that wage, vetan, of your prem, your pure love. This is the mood in our line. We can do so much sadhana, we can do so much parikrama, so much yajna, dan, charity, everything. But if our internal mood is not correct, if we're doing sakama bhakti, then we'll be cheated. Ultimately, it will take a very long time. It's a very roundabout method. We should follow the straight and narrow path of bhakti. What is the need to follow sakama bhakti if we can follow nirgun bhakti, braja bhakti, swarupsita bhakti, uttama bhakti? So therefore, we should not be cheated like this. And in order to not be cheated like this by ourselves, then we must develop Buddhi-yoga. So Krishna tells Arjuna, Buddhi-yukta jahatiha ube sukrita duskrita tasmad yodhayojasva yoga karma sukoshalam. Be established in Buddhi-yoga, and then whatever you do will be koshalam, very expert. He says this practice of yoga means you're not lazy. Prabhupada says in the commentary to this verse that he says, inaction is sinful. Prabhupada says like that, don't think, oh, I'll be lazy, I won't do anything. He says in another verse that, to be attached to not doing your work is wrong. Don't be attached to not doing your work. Oh, I won't do anything. Like Arjuna, I'll renounce everything, I won't do my work. Don't be attached like that. And don't be attached to doing your work. Be equipoised, samatvam yoga uchyate. But then, you should do proper work. What is that? Seva. Jagannath Babaji Maharaj said that to do seva is greater than chanting on beats millions of times, pulling on the rope mindlessly. To inattentively chant on Harinam, you may be chanting 3 lakhs Harinam every day. But without any devotion, without performing seva, then what is the use of that? Nothing. You won't get anything. You'll just become like a piece of wood. When you're chanting Harinam with seva mood, then that Harinam can be useful. But Jagannath Babaji Maharaj said it's better to cultivate the vegetables. He said, there's a story, he famously told people who came to him to water the eggplants. He said, oh, I came here to do Nirjan, Astakaliya Bhajan, and now he's making me water the eggplants and pick the eggplants. Maybe he likes eggplants so much, they started to criticize him. Said, oh, he likes to eat eggplant pakoda, eggplant sabji, eggplant choka. You must like this so much. So therefore, they complained to Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Oh, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, why? He's telling us to do this. We came here to do bhajan, to chant on Harinam, and to meditate on God's pastimes, and he's telling us to do this work. He said, oh, you have doubted him. And it said, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is described in their biography. He told some of them, return home, you're not qualified for this. Go get married and do your dharma. He told some of them, okay, you want to stay, but do this seva, those who are qualified. He said, if you don't do seva, you'll never purify your heart. You want to do Chaito Dharma Marjanam, you want to purify the heart, and you have to do it like our devotees, cleaning day and night. The temple, the body is a temple. When you're cleaning the temple, like with Licha Marjan, when you're cleaning the temple, then you start scrubbing and cleaning the mirror of your heart. And then you can realize your true Atma and Krishna, and then you can do bhakti with love and devotion. So this is why Krishna says, Yoga Karmashu Koshalam, that to perform proper, be established in yoga, you must do seva. Jagannath Babaji Maharaj says that by becoming engaged in seva, then your heart will become cleansed. Then you can really chant Harinam with purity, with the right intention. So he said you should ultimately be doing seva and chanting Harinam both. You shouldn't just give up Harinam. Guruji would say that if we just do seva but no Harinam, then that seva will become karma. Become material work, and we'll start to criticize others. I'm doing more than them. And we'll just think about that seva as like material work. Therefore we should do both. It's like if you're in a boat, and you're rowing only with one paddle, you're just going to go in circles. You row on one paddle, just savor, just savor, just savor, then circle, 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 circle. Okay, then we row the other side. Harinam, 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 Harinam eva kevalam, Harinam eva kevalam. Just Harinam, then circles. So therefore, what did Mahaprabhu teach? Both. Nirantar karo naam sankirtan or karo Vaishnava sevan dui kara sigra pave Shri Krishna charan. Continuously chant Harinam while doing seva. Continuously serve, continuously chant. Dui kara sigra, very quickly you'll get the lotus feet of Shri Krishna. Why? The more you do Harinam and seva together, it's like you're rowing very fast towards Krishna. But also, you should row towards Krishna, not towards Maya. You can be rowing very fast, doing Harinam, doing seva, but where are you going? You can drive very fast in a car, but better than driving very fast in the wrong direction is driving slowly in the right direction. Okay, I want to go to Delhi. Even if I drive 10 kilometers an hour, but it's better, I'm going towards Delhi. If I drive 100 kilometers an hour towards the opposite direction, then when will I get to Delhi? So Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, even chant one round, but with the right mood. And then gradually increase. Come to that level, gradually increase, gradually increase. So in this way you do seva and Harinam seva. This is Yoga Karmasu Koshalam. But also we should be intelligent about that. Krishna says, Durena Yavaram Karma, give up all kinds of durvasana, bad desires, and like bad activities, sinful activities. And then only meditate upon me and do it for my pleasure. He says you have to do your work. Karmande evadi karaste, this is the next verse he says. Karmande evadi karaste ma phale sukadachana ma karma phala hetu ma trisangusta karmani. That you should do karma only for my sake. Karmande eva adi karaste. You have the right to do karma but not to enjoy the fruits. You try to enjoy the fruits independently, then what will you do? Only suffer. Because you don't know, will it be a poisonous fruit or not, a sweet fruit? Even poison becomes nectar when it's offered to Krishna. When Prahlad was given poison by his mother, Hiranyakashipu tried to kill Prahlad in so many ways. And he couldn't kill him anyway, so he finally thought, he told his mother, oh, you should give poison to Prahlad to kill him. And she was thinking what to do. She had done bhakti under the guidance of Narad Rishi for 60,000 years. We can see, this is an interesting pastime. On one hand, Hiranyakashipu did austerities for 60,000 years. Standing on his toes, even his whole body was eaten away by ants. On the other hand, Prahlad did for 60,000 years, he was hitting Narad Rishi's kata in the womb of his mother. And also his mother was doing kayadu. Right? Yes. She was also doing austerities for 60,000 years. But when she came back, it said by asat sangha, then her mind again became spoiled. She was doing austerities thinking, when will my husband come back? When will my husband come back? Why, without my husband coming back, if I have this baby, then I don't know what the devas will do. Already they tried to kidnap her and kill the baby, Indra, and Narad saved her. So she said, I'll stay with you, Narad. I'll stay safe with you, but as soon as my husband comes back, let me have the baby. Otherwise, who knows what will happen. She was thinking of Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyakashipu. And when she came back, her husband told her, you have to give poison to your son. On one hand, he is Mahabhagavat, and her husband is the Mahadatsura. Great demon, he's Mahabhagavat. But then, instead of saying, no, I won't follow you, I don't care what you do to me, she was ready to give poison to Prahlad. This is the fruit. But what did Prahlad do? Everything you get, you offer it to the Lord. It became prasad, he took it, and nothing happened. There's stories that Ramanujacharya, they tried to give him poison and kill him also. In similar pastime. Many people were envious of Ramanujacharya and tried to give him poison many times. So we see this in lives of Vaishnavas. Out of enviousness, even Bhaktisiddhanta they tried to kill. So anyhow, we should follow this Bhakti-yoga properly. Like Prabhupada says, sit properly.
Yeah.
Try to do everything properly. Then you can progress towards what is beneficial to you. Therefore Krishna says, develop this Buddhi-yoga, be detached to Sukriti, Duskriti, Ube Sukrita, Duskrita, Tasmad Yudhayojasa Karma Koshala, Yoga Karma Koshalam. Then you can be engaged in yoga. And so, just two more verses before Arjuna asks the question. So we'll end there. Krishna says, Raga Dvesha Vimukta Vishayan Andryastravat Atma Visar Visyatma Prasadam Adhigachati. That when you become detached from Rag and Dvesh, material desire, material detachment, or aversion. In this world, we have love and hatred towards things, only what that satisfy our desires. So we are attracted, or we have liking, or like love for something, which is pleasing our senses. Like we love pizza, but we don't like neem Or we may like Neem, but we don't like something else. This is all Rag Dvesh. We like this person, we don't like that person. That person likes me and says nice things to me. That person says bad things to me. But this is not being established in yoga. Prabhuji tells the story that when the sadhu went to the village, one village was abusing him and he gave them a boon. The next village was praising him and he gave them externally a curse. So the sadhus are aloof from this and they do what is beneficial for those people. They are not thinking about honor, dishonor. That story is a good example of someone who is established properly in yoga. He went to a village and they were abusing him day and night. Oh thief, oh dacoit, oh chore. And at the end, the next day, he was humbly doing this. They were throwing stones at him, throwing mud at him. He didn't do anything. The next morning, he said, oh, you'll be very wealthy, your village will be very successful. And he went to the next village, and they were worshipping him, giving him garlands, bringing him so many opulent foodstuffs. And what was the result? The next day he said, your village will be destroyed. He wasn't thinking about honor and dishonor. He thought, if this village is destroyed, then these people are such great sadhus, they have such good nature, they'll go everywhere and spread the Lord's glories and their activities by their nature. And if these other people have great wealth and opulence, they won't leave the village, they'll just be happy enjoying there. Like Bhaktivinoda Thakur talks about Ulagram in his childhood. He said they were so absorbed in sense enjoyment, they were day and night absorbed in this, and they never went out and disturbed anyone. But ultimately, what happened? A great disease came in that area and almost everyone died. So, therefore we hear from Srila Gurudev that we should try to follow this. Become detached, raga dvesha vimuktastu, then we can get Krishna's mercy, prasade adhigacchati. Otherwise, even we get prasadam, and we start saying this is good prasadam, this is bad prasadam. If we aren't free of raga dvesh, Krishna says, raga dvesh vimuktastu vishayan indriyascharan atma visarvisyatma prasadam adhigacchati. You can get prasad, my real prasad, when first you become aloof to raga and dvesh, attachment and aversion. I like this, I don't like that. Then, in this one-pointedness, only whatever Krishna desires, whatever Krishna gives me, I'll accept with honor. Then that becomes Krishna Prasad. Okay? Panchakapatribhya kripa sindhuvya cha pritanam padmebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namo.